Hare Krishna, welcome to today's session on Bhagavatam. We'll be starting with Damodarashtakam, and then once Sir comes, we will take Bhagavatam class, otherwise we can discuss. Right. So, Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Vrajamanam Yasodabhiyolukha Ladhavamanam Paramrishtam Atyanta Sodrutya Gopya Yasodabhiyolukha Ladhavamanam Paramrishtam Atyanta Sodrutya Gopya Yudantamuhurnetra Yugmam Rejantam Karambhoja Yugmena Satanka Netram Yudantamuhurnetra Yugmam Rejantam Karambhoja Yugmena Satanka Netram Muhuswasakam Patri Rekhanka Kantha Sitagraibam Damodaram Bhaktivadam Muhuswasakam Patri Rekhanka Kantha Sitagraibam Damodaram Bhaktivadam Iti Druksho Leelavir Ananda Kunde Sugosam Nimajantam Akyapayantam Iti Driksho Leelavir Ananda Kunde Sugosam Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadye Sita Gesu Bhaktejitatam Punah Prematastam Saka Vritti Vande Tadye Sita Gesu Bhaktejitatam Punah Prematastam Saka Vritti Vande Varam Deva Mokshamna Mokshavadimva Nachanya Vriniham Vareshatapiha Varam Deva Mokshamna Mokshavadimva Nachanya Vriniham Vareshatapiha Idam Deva Purnatha Gopala Balam Sadame Manasya Virastam Kimane Idam Deva Purnatha Gopala Balam Sadame Manasya Virastam Kimane Idam Te Mukham Bhojam Atyanta Nile Brutam Kuntalai Snigdha Raktaischa Gopya Idam Te Mukham Jamatyanta Nile Brutam Kuntalai Snigdha Raktaischa Gopya Muschumbitam Bimba Raktadharam Me Manasya Virastam Alam Lakshalabe Muschumbitam Bimba Raktadharam Me Manasya Virastam Alam Lakshalabe Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimagnam Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabhimagnam Krupa Drishti Vrishtyate Dinam Vatanu Grihani Swaman Megham Medyakidrisha Krupa Drishti Vrishtyate Dinam Vatanu Grihani Swaman Megham Medyakidrisha Kuberatmajo Vadha Mrute Vayada Toyamochito Bhakti Bhajo Kutaucha Kuberatmajo Vadha Mrute Vayada Toyamochito Bhakti Bhajo Kutaucha तथा प्रेम भक्तिं सोखामे प्रयाच नमोच्चे ग्रहो मे श्री दामोदरे तथा प्रेम भक्तिं सोखामे प्रयाच नमोच्चे ग्रहो मे श्री दामोदरे नमस्ते सुधाम्ने स्फुरदीप्ते धाम्ने सुधियोदरायथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमस्ते सुधाम्ने स्फुरदीप्ते धाम्ने सुधियोदरायथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमो राधिकाय तोदिया प्रियाय नमो नंतलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकाय तोदिया प्रियाय नमो नंतलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं यशोदाभियो लोकलाघवमानं परामृष्टमत्यन्तस्तोत्रृत्य गोप्या यशोदाभियो लोकलाघवमानं परामृष्टमत्यन्तस्तोत्रृत्य गोप्या Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe Yashoda Damodar Yashoda Damodar Yashoda Damodar Yashoda Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Shri Radha Damodar ki jai Shri Yashoda Damodar ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Kai Gaur Samanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. So आप सब लोगों को स्वागत है आज का श्रीमद् भागवतम सेशन में। एक्चुअली सर देहरादून में है तो कल मुझे सर का आदेश था आज मैं ब्रह्माभिमोहन लीला के बारे में कुछ बोलूं। तो जो लोग सर को ऑलरेडी सुन रहे हैं तो वहाँ मुझे कुछ बोलने का तो वैसे I don't have the qualification, but only as per the instruction of sir, I'm going to speak something. I'm going to read actually from Srimad Bhagavatam. So please forgive me if I commit any mistake, any philosophical blunder. Please correct me. So, Abhishek Prabhu, should we carry on or Sarah joined? What is the status?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think you only have to take the class. Sir is not here.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll start with Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm sharing the screen. Abhishek Prabhu, can you share the screen for Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 13, text number 1?
Yes, Proji. Yes, Proji, doing.
Yes. So we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Dasama Skanda, Treyadas Adhyaya, Sloka number 1. Sri Sukha Uvacha. So, 1, yes. Yes, so one of you can unmute, like Binay Prabhu or Abhishek Prabhu can unmute and repeat with me. Sri Sukha Uvacha.
Shri Sukavacha.
Sadhu Prishtam Mahabhaga.
Sadhu Prishtam Mahabhaga.
Toya Bhagavatottama.
Tvaya
Yannutana
Bhagavatotamam.
Yasisasya.
Yannutana Yasishasya.
Srinvan api kathamuhu.
Shrivanapi Kathamuham.
Translation and purport by Srila Abhayacharana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, O best of devotees, most fortunate Parikshit, you have inquired very nicely, for although constantly hearing the pastimes of Lord, you are perceiving his activities to be newer and newer. Purport. Unless one is very advanced in Krishna consciousness, one cannot stick to hearing the pastime of Lord constantly. Nityam Nava Navaya Yamanam. Even though advanced devotee hear continuously about the Lord for years, they still feel that these topics are coming to them as newer and fresher. Therefore, such devotees cannot give up hearing of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Bilochanena Santaha Sadaiva Hridayeshu Bilakayanti. The word Santaha is used to refer to persons who have developed love for Krishna. Yam Syama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami. Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text number 38. Parikshit Maharaj therefore is addressed as Bhagavatottama, the best of the devotees, because unless one is very much elevated in devotional service, one cannot feel ecstasy from hearing more and more and appreciate the topics as ever fresher and newer. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakhyurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, आज के जो अध्याय है ये है ब्रह्मा स्टीलिंग द बॉयज एंड काप्स. श्रीमद् भागवतम दशम स्कंद त्रयोदश अध्याय. ब्रह्मा विमोहन Leela hai ye. And in this chapter, Parikshit Maharaj, in this verse, Parikshit Maharaj, actually before this verse, in the previous chapter, Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami that please tell me why after the deliverance of um, Aghasur, the boys came to know about the incidents after 1 year. What happened actually once Krishna and his friends, they went to the forest early, thinking that they will do their breakfast in the forest only. So they took all their cups, took all their breakfast and lunch bags, and went to the forest. And there, the Aghasur Leela happened. And all the boys, they entered into Aghasur. Then Krishna killed Aghasur, and he saved all his friends. And then, you know, uh, Sukadeva Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj that when the Aghasur was killed, the boys actually came to know about it after 1 year, and they thought as if it happened just now. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking, if it happened 1 year before, if it happened when Krishna was 5 year old, why the boys came to know when Krishna became 6 year old? And what is the reason? And Sukadeva Goswami is describing in this chapter, because in this 1 year, something happened for which the boys don't have any memory for that one whole year. So Sukadeva Goswami is here praising Parikshit Maharaj as, as a Mahabhagavat, as a Bhagavat Uttama. Okay, so he's saying, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is saying, O best of the devotees, O Mahabhaga, O Bhagavat Uttama, O most fortunate Parikshit, you have inquired very nicely, for although constantly hearing the pastimes of the Lord, you are perceiving his activities to be newer and newer. So Sukadeva Goswami is saying, O Parikshit Maharaj, I have already told about many pastimes of Krishna. Up to 10th canto, Parikshit Maharaj has already, Sukadeva Goswami has already talked about 9th canto. Almost all the incarnations have been talked about. And still, Parikshit Maharaj is not becoming tired. Parikshit Maharaj is not getting tired, is not getting bored, and he's not saying, please, you have talked about enough pastimes of Krishna, please stop here. I don't want to listen more. He doesn't say that. He says, please tell me more about Krishna. Please tell me how this thing happened. So that is why Sukadeva Goswami is praising him. You are perceiving the activities of Krishna as newer and newer. Nityam Nava Navaya Manam. Actually, there are two different kinds of activities. One is material activities, another is spiritual activities. So, there is a law in economics which it's given by economics called Maslow. And the law of economics, that law says, the title of the law is the diminishing marginal utility. Diminishing marginal utility. It says that as we taste something again and again, okay, the quality of taste, okay, the attraction that we have in the beginning, that start diminishing as we go on tasting the same thing again and again. Suppose you take one rasgulla, so you will feel very good. I have taken one rasgulla. But if you take 10 rasgullas, then the 10th rasgulla will not give you that much happiness that the first rasgulla gave you. Okay, so that is called the law of marginal utility. All right. So, law of diminishing marginal utility. So, when we enjoy something again and again, so the utility, the happiness, that the pleasure that we get from that thing reduces gradually. Okay, but here Sukadeva Goswami is saying that Parikshit Maharaj is enjoying more and more pleasure. Parikshit Maharaj is gaining more and more happiness when he listens more about Krishna. So it is just opposite of the material law of diminishing marginal utility. I know it is. There was a survey recently that for how much time the romance between husband and wife goes on after marriage. So the study found that the romantic feeling between husband and wife that continues on an average for 1 year, and after 1 year the romantic feeling gradually diminishes, and they just become friends, and then they stay together. But that romantic feeling doesn't continue beyond 1 year. All right. So it may be the eatables in the material world, maybe the relationship, maybe anything in this material world. It has a diminishing marginal utility. And we get a job in the beginning, we get a lot of happiness that we get a job, we get salary, we become very happy. But gradually, when we remain in that job for some years, the happiness out of the job diminishes. It decreases. We don't get the same kind of happiness from the job always. Okay, like students, they stay in the college for 1 year and they get a summer vacation, and they go home. For first 2-3 days, they enjoy a lot with their family, with their relatives, with the cousins, and okay, they do a lot of enjoyment, and then gradually they become bored of it. All right, after some time, they don't feel the same kind of happiness with the same relationship. So in material world, everything, every taste has a diminishing marginal utility. But whatever is related to Krishna, it doesn't have a diminishing marginal utility, rather it has increasing the marginal utility. It's not diminishing. Why? For example, when we start bhakti, when we start devotional service, we start chanting, then we start with 1 round, 2 rounds, and we go to temple, we take darshan of Lord, stay there for 5-10 minutes and come back. Then gradually we increase our chanting from 1 to 2 to 8 to 16. And then when we go to the temple, we don't just take darshan and come back. We sit down there, we listen to Bhagavatam. Gradually we spend more and more time. Then we get some services. We do some garland, we make some garland for the Lord. Or we listen to more Bhagavatam class. We serve devotees, and gradually we spend more time in the temple. And some devotees, they increase their devotional activity so much that they dedicate their whole life as brahmachari or sannyasi, and then they only serve the Lord. So here, the happiness, the utility is not decreasing, it is increasing. Okay, so like that, when we watch a movie or read a novel, and it's very difficult to watch the movie again, or it is very difficult to watch or to read a novel which we have already read, because we know the end. So there is no thrill in that. Now we know what is going to happen at the end. So there is no thrill in reading a novel which we have already read. But everybody, I'm sure everybody has experienced that when you read Bhagavad Gita, you read for the first time, you gain some knowledge, you gain some interesting insights. You read it for the second time, you gain some more insights. You read it for the third time, you gain some new perspective into it. So every time you read Bhagavad Gita, we gain newer and newer perspectives. So that is what is the Nava Nava Rasa. Nitya Nava Navayamanam. Even Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam about Krishna Lila. When we listen to it, we have listened to Krishna Lila from many devotees. But still, every time we hear Krishna Lila, we get intrigued. We get the same kind of happiness, or even more happiness. So as devotees are advanced, when they listen to the same Lila again and again, they get more and more happiness. And Prabhupada says that when there is a Mahabhagavata, when there is a Mahabhag, there is a pure devotee, Whenever he hears about Krishna, whenever he speaks about Krishna, he gets higher and higher and higher taste. His taste in Krishna Katha never diminishes. His taste in speaking about Krishna never diminishes. Okay, so we can personally experience by studying from Bhagavad Gita. So when we read it again and again, we get newer and newer insights. We get more and more understanding. Okay, so that is what Sukadeva Goswami is saying to Parikshit Maharaj. The second verse says, Satamayam saravritam nisargo yadarthavani sruti chetasam api pratikshanam navya badachyutasya striya vitanam iva sadhu varta. Translation: Paramahansa's devotees who have accepted the essence of life are attached to Krishna in the core of their hearts, and he is the aim of their lives. It is their nature to talk only of Krishna at every moment, as if such topics were newer and newer. They are attached to such topics, just as materialists are attached to topics of women and sex. Okay. So Prabhupada says in this purport, so Paramahansa devotees who have accepted the essence of life, who knows, the Paramahansa devotees, the devotees who know what is the essence of life. So there are different philosophies. One philosophy, Charvak philosophy, which is in West called as hedonistic philosophy. It says that Rinam Krutta Gritam Pivet, Javat Jivet Sukham Jivet, Bhasmi Bhutasya Sarira, Kuttaha Punaragaman. Okay, according to that Charvak philosophy. So Rinam Krutta Gritam Pivet. Hedonism means the philosophy of enjoyment. It says that as long as you are alive, we should enjoy our senses. Even if we have to incur loan for it, we have to enjoy the senses. Why? Because Bhasmi Bhutasya Sarira Kutaha Punaragaman. Who knows? After living this body, who knows whether we come back or not? We don't have any direct experience of that. So that is why, as long as we are alive, as long as we have this body, we should enjoy the senses. Even if we have to incur loan, we have to drink ghee. But that is hedonistic philosophy. And the spiritual philosophy, the Vedantist philosophy, it says that as long as we have this human body, we have an opportunity to utilize this human body and to get out of this cycle of birth and death. Because Vedantists know what is the truth. Hedonists don't know what is the truth. They are confused. So that is why they say, Kutaha Punaragaman, means we don't know. So because they don't know, in the doubt they want to enjoy. But Vedantists know there is a after birth. There is a birth after death, and whoever is born is going to die, and whoever is dead is surely going to take birth again. So those who are Vedantist, they are always interested in getting out of this cycle of birth and death, and more than that, that is the primary level. More than that, they're interested in being situated in their original ontological position. What is that original ontological position? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamivansa jiva loka jiva bhuta sanatana manasasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Krishna says that every living entity is my part and parcel. So as hand is the part of body, and hands, the function of the hand is to serve the whole body. So like that, if we are part and parcel of Krishna, it is chief function of the jiva is to serve Krishna. So when we situate ourselves in service of Krishna, that is our original ontological position. So these Bhakti Vedantists, they know this truth. They know that all the jivas are the part and parcel of Krishna, and they have to situate themselves in the service of Krishna, and that is what they want to do. And for that, what they do, so that is the essence of life. They know the essence of life is to situate ourselves in our original ontological position, is to reconnect ourselves, because we are always part and parcel of Krishna, and we have forgotten it. So you have to revive the connection of Jiva with Krishna. So that is, they know that is the essence of life. And because they know the essence of life, because they know that human body is an opportunity to revive that lost relationship, to revive that forgotten relationship. So that is why they act accordingly, and they are attached to Krishna in the core of their hearts. And Krishna is the only aim of their lives, because they know their original ontological position is to serve Krishna. So that is why their chief aim is to attain Krishna and to attain Krishna service. It is their nature to talk only of Krishna at every moment. And suppose we forget something, how do we remember? There is a disease called amnesia, where people tend to forget, they lost their memory. So the relatives, they try to talk about his previous life, and they talk about the previous life so much that the person tends to remember a little bit, and then gradually he may gain the memory. So it is recommended that you should talk about his life before the accident or before whatever happened in that amnesia. So you have to talk about that life so that he gradually remembers those things which he forgot. So like that, we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. And that is why we have to listen about it. We have to hear about it again and again. And from whom? From the bona fide spiritual master, from the bona fide devotees. Okay, those who are connected to the parampara, who know the truth. Okay, they are tattvadarshi. From them, we have to hear, and then once we hear, we situate ourselves. We are situated in our original position. We have to speak about it. Okay, and while speaking about those topics, they also feel those topics are newer and newer. They're attached to such topics, just as materialists are attached to topics of women and sex. Like generally, in the young age, even the old age, the chief subject matter of talk, whenever people get together and they talk, they converse among themselves, the one common topic is money, how to gain more money, and then how to enjoy the opposite sex. These are the two major topics of talk. So like that, the transcendentalists who always talk about Krishna, they never get bored by talking about Krishna again and again. Okay, they get newer pleasure, newer happiness, okay, by talking about Krishna. And for devotees, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the night for the devotee, night for the yogi, or is the day for the materialist is like the night for the yogi, and the night for the materialist is like day for the yogi. What does it mean? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes it. Okay, describes that those topics which are enjoyable for the materialist are like poison for the transcendentalist. Like the women and money, those things are enjoyable for the materialist. So that is why there are a lot of movies being created every day. And people go to movie in order to know about those things. Okay, in order to talk about, in order to see the women and money. Okay, but these topics are like poison for the transcendentalists. And for the transcendentalist, Krishna Katha is like nectar, but which is not at all releasable for those who are completely materialist. Okay. So then coming to the third verse, what Sukadeva Goswami is saying here. Srinu swavahito rajan api guhyam badamite bhuyaha snigdhasya sishyasya gurava guhyam api uta. O king, kindly hear me with great attention. Although the activities of the Supreme Lord are very confidential, no ordinary man being able to understand them, I shall speak about them to you, for spiritual masters explain to a submissive disciple even subject matters that are very confidential and difficult to understand. The Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Hey Parikshit Maharaj, the subject matter of transcendence, the activities of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna are inconceivable, and they are very secret. They are top secret. And even Krishna has bewildered the materialist Mayavadis in many ways. So the Leelas of Krishna are top secret, Guhyatama. But it is the duty of the spiritual master to speak about those Guhyatama topics, secret topics to his disciples. So that is why I will talk about those secret topics to you. Alright? So that is what Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami is saying. Okay. So then we'll go to the text 4. Tathagavadanam mrityo rakshitva vatsapalakam sarit pulinam maniya bhagavan nikam abravit. Then after saving the boys and calves from the mouth of Aghasura, who was death personified, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, brought them all to the bank of the river and spoke the following words. तो यहाँ से शुरू होता है सुखदेव गोस्वामी, सॉरी ये सुखदेव गोस्वामी फिर से वही लीला से शुरू कर रहे हैं कि अघासुर को मारने के बाद, after killing Aghasur, Krishna took all the boys, and at that time Krishna was actually not tending the cows. That time Krishna was tending the calves. He was 5-year-old. So once he completed 5 years, then on this very day, today is Gopashtami. On this very day, Krishna was assigned, he got a promotion to tend the cows. And cows are waiting for this day, that when Krishna will grow up and then we will be tended by Krishna. So for 5 years, those cows, the big cows, they're waiting when Krishna will be taking us for tending. So on this very day, Gopashtami, Krishna took cows for grazing. But before that, when Aghasura Leela happened, Krishna was tending the calves. Okay. So so during that time, when Aghasura was killed, Aghasura was delivered, because Asuras, when are killed by Krishna, they were all delivered. So when Aghasura was delivered, then Krishna took all his friends to a place, to a river bank, where they could sit down and take their meal together, take their lunch together. So, and that brought them all bank of the river and spoke the following words. And then what did Krishna say? Aho trimyam pulinam vyasya sokeli sampan madula chaha valukam sputat sarogandha ritali patrika dhvani pratidhvana lasa drumakulam. Translation: my dear friends, just see how this river bank is extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere, and just see how the blooming lotuses are attracting bees and birds by their aroma. The humming and chirping of the bees and birds is echoing throughout the beautiful trees in the forest. Also, here the sands are clean and soft. Therefore, this must be considered as the best place for our sporting and pastimes. Okay, so Krishna brought all the cowherd boys, all the friends, to the bank of Yamuna, and he's describing that what is and how beautiful the bank of Yamuna at that time was. It was extremely beautiful because of its pleasing atmosphere. Okay, so that time, Prabhupada says that Vrindavan that time was like this. There was blooming lotuses. Okay, Yamuna used to be having a lot of lotus flowers, and bees and birds, they're roaming around. And the humming and chirping of the bees and birds are echoing throughout the beautiful trees and forest. And the sands are also clean and soft. And it is said that in the land of Vrindavan, because the goal of Vrindavan is Chintamani Dham. Okay, they are all conscious. Right? The Chintamani Dham. So sir many times talked about what is the conscious space. So spiritual world is conscious space. And the Bhumi, Vrindavan Bhumi, is also conscious. So whenever, and Krishna For 11 years, Krishna stayed in Vrindavan, and he never used to wear any slipper or shoes. He used to roam around barefoot. Okay, and because he was roaming around in bare feet, the conscious land of Vrindavan, wherever Krishna was walking, the land used to be converted into soft sand. So if you still go to Ramanrati, the sand is very soft. Even in Govardhan, the sand is very soft. When he used to walk on the top of the Govardhan, then the rocks, the stone of Govardhan used to be converted into soft sand, so that it will not pain Krishna's feet. Okay, so their dham is also Chintamani. Okay, and they know, the dham knows how to serve Krishna. So they become soft. So that is what Krishna is saying, that also the sands are clean and soft. Therefore, this must be considered the best place for sporting pastimes. So it was, the Vrindavan at that time was full of beautiful trees, flowering trees, flower bearing trees. Yamuna was full of lotuses, clean water, soft sand, clean sand, bees, birds everywhere, peacocks, swans, cranes, they were found everywhere. And even 500 years before, when our Goswamis were there in Vrindavan, Goswami also wrote, Kujata Kokila Hamsa Sarasa Ganakam Mayura Kule. So these are the birds. They were even present 500 years before. Even now, if you go to the forest of Vrindavan, we could hear the chirping sound of the birds. Okay, but at that time, Vrindavan was much more beautiful. Okay, so these birds describes the beauty of that river bank of Yamuna, the Vrindavan forest, where the boys, they came and wanted to have a feast. So then, next verse, Atra bhaktapyam asmavir divaruddham chudarditah vatsaha samipe papitva charantu sanake strinam. I think we should take our lunch here, since we are already hungry because of the time is very late. Here the calves may drink water and go slowly here and there and eat the grass. So Krishna is saying, because here soft grasses are there, so the calves, they can eat those soft grasses while we eat our lunch. So they will not stray away in the jungle while we are feasting. So it will not be troublesome for our fishing, because these calves, they will not go far away. There are soft grasses, they can easily eat it. So accepting Lord Krishna's proposal, the cowherd boys allowed the calves to drink water from the river and then tied them to trees where there was green tender grass. Then the boys spent their baskets of food and began eating with Krishna in great transcendental pleasure. So then the boys, all of them, they accepted the proposal of Krishna. They brought all the calves to drink water from Yamuna. They tied them to the trees, loosely tied them, so that they can roam around in some place and eat those green grasses while the friends can enjoy the lunch with Krishna. So like the whole of a lotus flower surrounded by its petals and leaves, Krishna sat in the center, encircled by lines of his friends who all looked very beautiful. Every one of them was trying to look forward towards Krishna, thinking that Krishna might look toward him. In this way, they all enjoyed their lunch in the forest. Okay. So then the boys, along with Krishna, they sat in a circle, and everybody was facing Krishna. And everybody was, actually Krishna was also facing everybody. So that is the opulence of Krishna. Okay. So sarvato panipadascha, sarvatota siramukha. So he has hands and legs everywhere. He has faces everywhere. Okay. So like in Rasa Leela, we also see there are thousands and thousands of gopis. And Krishna was there with everybody. Okay. And everybody was thinking that Krishna is with him only, or her only. So like this, the boys, they are facing Krishna, and everybody is thinking that Krishna is facing me. Even they are encircling Krishna. Okay. So everybody is thinking Krishna is facing them. So that is the kind of opulence Krishna always shows with his friends. Among the cowherd boys, some placed their lunch on flowers, some on the leaves, fruits, or bunches of leaves, some actually in their baskets, some on the bark of trees, and some on rocks. This is what the children imagined to be their plates as they ate their lunch. Then everybody brought a variety of items, and they just took out their items from their lunchbox and they put on the plates, but they didn't carry the plates. They only carried the lunchbox. So what they did, they plucked some leaves, they plucked some tea parts, and then they placed it as and used them as the plates. And some people they collected the clean rocks and they also put their prasadam on that rock and they started eating it with amusement. And what kind of amusement they are doing? The next verses talk about that. All the cowherd boys enjoyed their lunch with Krishna, showing one another the different tastes of the different varieties of preparations they had brought from home. Tasting one another's preparations, they began to laugh and make one another laugh. Okay, so somebody has brought, suppose, samosa. So you take out the samosa, taste it, and will say, you see, my samosa, how tasty is my samosa? My mother has made this samosa very tasty. Okay, so then he will give the samosa to others, they will taste it. Okay, and they will taste each other's preparations. So if one boy brings 5 preparations, thousands of boys are there. So 5,000 preparations or more than thousands of preparations. Everybody tastes everybody's preparations. And they also do some joking. Vishwanath Chakraborty writes in his Sarartha Dasantrika, sometimes a boy fills the samosa with jasmine flour and he gives somebody, you see, this samosa is so tasty, can you taste? Then that boy will taste the samosa, and then the bitter taste of jasmine flour, when touches the tongue, then he will make a face and he will run before that boy to beat him, and that boy will run away. Okay, so in this way they get amused. They play while taking lunch, and everybody offered whatever they brought. Everybody offered to Krishna. Krishna was also tasting from them, and Krishna was also offering whatever Yasodamaya was giving Krishna. Krishna was offering to everybody else. So they were eating with bare hands. They're small kids. They're sitting in circles, using the leaves, the tree bark, the stones as the plate, and they're putting all the preparations on those plates, sharing those items with each other, running behind each other in joke. Okay, and they are also, when someone is tasting the item, he is also given that the tasted item to another boy, and Krishna is also tasting the the item which is tasted by others. So in this way the pastime went on, and devatas, the demigods, they were looking from heavenly planets, and what they saw, they were astonished to see this. Krishna is Yagyamuk, that is, he eats only offering of Yagya. It is text 11. But to exhibit his childhood pastimes, he now sat with his flute, tucked between his waist and his tight clothes on his right side, and with his horn, bugle, and cow driving stick on his left, holding in his hand a very nice preparations of yogurt and rice, with pieces of suitable fruit between his fingers. He sat like the whole of a lotus flower, looking forward towards all his friends, personally joking with them, and creating jubilant laughter among them as he ate. At that time, the denizens of heaven are watching, struck with wonder at how the personality of Godhead, who eats only in yajna, was now eating with his friends in the forest. When Krishna was eating with his friend cowherd boyfriends, a certain bumblebee came there to take part in the eating. Thus Krishna joked, "Why have you come to disturb my Brahmana friend Madhumangala? You want to kill a Brahmana? This is not good." All the boys would laugh and enjoy, speaking such joking words while eating. Thus the inhabitants of the higher planets were astounded at how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who eats only when the yajna is offered, was now eating like an ordinary child with his friends in the forest. Okay, so this is a very important verse in this chapter. Krishna is eating lunch with his cowherd friends. He's taking the juta, he's taking the remnants of others. Somebody has already tested it and he is taking it and eating it. And they are joking. And Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Sarartha Darshan Tika, he says that when a bumblebee comes, then somebody says, hey bumblebee, you go and go to the Madhumangal. And Madhumangal, being frightened, says, oh bumblebee, do you want to kill a Brahmana? Do you want to get the sin of killing a Brahmana? So please go away. Please don't come near me. So then bumblebee will go away. So in this way they were joking. Okay. And Krishna was eating rice with some curd. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that between his fingers there were different kinds of achar, different kinds of pickles. Okay, fruit pickles, mango pickles. So between his fingers there is mango pickle, there is amla pickle, different kinds of fruit pickles. And Krishna is eating rice with those pickles. And sometimes Krishna is holding the curd rice in one hand, left hand, and eating it from the right hand. So holding curd rice in left hand, he is eating with the right hand. Okay. So this is the kind of pastime Krishna is doing. And the demigods are being astonished. How is it possible? Krishna is Yajna Purusa. He eats when something very pure is offered to Yajna. Okay, when something very pure is offered to Yajna, like when in the temple, we don't offer remnants, right? We don't offer unclean things. We don't offer after eating. Okay, we offer very pure things to Krishna, purely cooked. Okay, pure ingredients, no onion, no garlic, no non-veg. So all the pure things, purely cooked, then offered to Krishna. And in Yajna also, all the purified items, they are offered to Yajna, and then Krishna takes that. And these demigods are being bewildered, being astonished that how Krishna, who is offered the choicest prasadam, choicest bhoga, the purest of the bhoga, he is eating now with his friends, in his own hand, like a very ordinary child, okay, eating yogurt or the yogurt mixed rice from one hand, and he's using both the hands. Okay, he's eating rice with pickle. He's testing the items from others. So this was very, very bewildering for the demigods. So Brahmaji, when Krishna killed Aghasura, Brahmaji was also astonished. Brahmaji also praised Lord that he could kill Aghasura. But when Devatas and Brahmaji, they saw this pastime of Krishna, when they saw that Krishna is eating lunch with his cowherd friends like a very ordinary child, and they became very bewildered. But the most important thing here, as Sir told yesterday, that when Krishna used to come to the jungle, the gopis, elderly gopis, they used to feel a lot of separation from Krishna. And when Krishna and his friends, they used to go back to Vrindavan again, go back to Gokula, then the gopis, they used to love Krishna more than their own children. Okay. So they used to love Krishna more than their own children. And everybody, every gopi, every gopa used to have an aspiration, used to have a desire that kaas Krishna mera hi beta hote. Okay. So kaas Krishna is my child. Krishna would be my child. Then I would take care of Krishna like Yashoda is taking care of Krishna. I would serve Krishna like Yashoda is serving Krishna. I would serve Krishna as Nanda Maharaj is serving Krishna. So every gopa and every gopi in Vrindavan used to have that desire that काश कृष्णा उनके बेटा होते और वो नंद महाराज यशोदा जैसे उनका सेवा कर पाते. And the cows, every cows, they also used to have that desire to have Krishna as their child. So the Lila Shakti of Krishna the Alladini Shakti of Krishna, they acted to arrange such a situation where the desire of those gopis, gopas, and the cows that will be fulfilled. Okay, so we'll just read 3-4 more verses. O Maharaj Parikshit, text number 12. While the cowherd boys, who knew nothing within the core of their hearts but Krishna, were thus engaged in eating their lunch in the forest, the calves went far away, deep into the forest, being allured by green grass. When Krishna saw that his friends, the cowherd boys, were frightened, he, the fierce controller even of fear itself, said, just to mitigate their fear, my dear friends, do not stop eating. I shall bring your calves back to this spot by personally going after them myself. Let me go and search for the calves, Krishna said. Don't disturb your enjoyment. Then, carrying his yogurt and rice in his hand, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, immediately went out to search for the calves of his friends. To please his friends, he began searching in all mountains, mountain caves, bushes, and narrow passages. O Maharaj Parikshit, Brahma, who resides in the higher planetary system in the sky, had observed the activities of the most powerful Krishna in killing and delivering Aghasura, and he was astonished now that same Brahma wanted to show some of his own power and see the power of Krishna, was engaged in the childhood pastimes, playing as if with ordinary cowherd boys. Therefore, in Krishna's absence, Brahma took all the boys and calves to another place. Thus, he became entangled, for in the every near future, he would, in very near future, he would see how powerful Krishna was. Okay. So, while they were taking lunch, they saw, they tied the calves in some trees, like, but they are loosely tied the calves. And the calves, they loosened themselves from the time, and then they went inside the forest. And when the boys, they were enjoying a lot. And when they saw that the calves are not there, then they became afraid that where are the calves? Then Krishna said, okay, don't worry. You enjoy here. I'm going personally. And here, both Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Prabhupada, they say that Krishna has nothing to do. Krishna has no activity to do. All his activities are undertaken by his own energies. He has unlimited energies. He has Alladini Shakti, he has internal potency, he has external potency, he has Lila Shakti, he has many potencies. And all the activities of Krishna are carried out by his potencies. He has nothing to do apart from enjoyment. But here what is happening? He is saying, you boys, you sit and enjoy. I personally am going to search for the calves. So this is the love. Like when you are going in a boat. Suppose there is a very rich man going in the boat, in that boat, and the rich man has a lot of servants. All the servants are also there in the boat. But when the rich man's son, suppose, jumps to the river, then the rich man doesn't wait for the servants to, protect his son. He himself, jumps to the river and then protects his son. So that is what is the love. Even if he has a lot of servants, but when he is in love, that he wants to do something for them. So like that, Krishna loves his devotees, his cowherd boyfriend so much that he did not wait for his energies to take action. He himself went in search for the calves. Okay. And second, so this is the time when Lila Shakti of Krishna got an opportunity to fulfill the desire of the gopis, gopas, and the cows. So he used Brahma as the instrument to do this Lila, so that Krishna will expand himself to unlimited calves, unlimited cowherd boys, okay, and then he will give pleasure to all the gopis, gopas, and the cows who will get Krishna as their own son. So Lila Shakti used Brahma, and what Lila Shakti did, it's not that Brahma doesn't have the capacity to touch even those cowherd boys or even the calves. They're all transcendental calves and the cowherd boys. They're eternal associates of Krishna. So like sir was telling yesterday, when Ravana came to kidnap Sita, Ravana could not touch original Sita. So the energy of the Lila Shakti of Ram manifested a Maya Sita, a shadow Sita, and the original Sita was hidden. Okay, and Ravana took the Maya Sita or Chaya Sita. So like this, Lila Shakti, hide the cowherd boys and the calves, and they manifested. Lila Shakti manifested some of the Maya or the illusory cowherd boys and calves, and Brahma took those cowherd boys and calves. So that is why in the later verse, Brahma will say that I am not able to make a distinction between the calves and cowherd boys that they are playing with Krishna, and the calves and cowherd boys, they are the manifestation of the external energy, manifestation of the Maya. So they are not manifestation of the Maya. The cowherd boys and calves are not manifestation of the Maya. They are eternal associates of Lord Krishna. But the Lila Shakti manifested some of the illusory calves and cowherd boys, and Brahma took those. Okay, and when Krishna did not find, he searched in the mountains, mountain caves, everywhere, and did not find the calves and cowherd boys, calves. He returned back and saw that cowherd boys are not also there. The friends are not there. So Lila Shakti manifested both calves and cowherd boys, and Brahma took those illusory cowherd boys and calves, but original cowherd boys and calves are hidden by the Lila Shakti. And then Krishna knew that this is going to happen. He knew that he has taken those illusory boys and calves, so he manifested himself. He manifested from himself. He became many, and he became all the cowherd boys. He became all the calves, and here it is described in the later verses that he not only becomes the boys and calves, he becomes all the ornaments, the paraphernalia that were there with those boys and calves. Suppose a boy is wearing a dhoti, so Krishna became his dhoti. Krishna became his bugle. Krishna became his stick, cowherd stick. Krishna became his pagadi. Krishna became his jewelry. If a calf is wearing some mala, gunja mala, so Krishna also became that gunja mala. So Krishna became expanded himself to everything, and he manifested everything as it is, and he went to Vrindavan. And there, all the gopis, the cows, now they could not distinguish between Krishna and their own children. Okay, their love for Krishna was more than their own children, but now they are not able to distinguish between their own children and Krishna, because all their children are Krishna, and they love Krishna as much as their own children, and they love their children as much as Krishna. And Balram came to know about it just 5 days before the final Brahma's arrival. For 1 year, even Balram could not know. And that day when Brahma Viman took place, Balram did not go. It was his birthday that time. That was Balram Purnima, so he did not go. Okay, so this is how this pastime happened, and then tomorrow we'll continue from text 16. Yes, from text 16 we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitya Gaur Samananda. If you have any question, please you can raise. Otherwise, well, there is a question in chat by Chiranjit Prabhu. Chiranjit Prabhu says that who is Charvak Muni? Charvak Muni was we have two kinds of darshan, two kind of philosophy in India. We have Asthik darshan, we have Nastik darshan. So Asthik darshan means theistic philosophy, and Nastik darshan means atheistic philosophy. So we have three atheistic philosophy: Charvak, Buddhism, and Jainism. And then we have 6 theistic philosophy. Okay, like Vedanta Sutra, Mimamsa, Karma Mimamsa, Nyaya. Okay, so these are theistic philosophy or an Astik darshan. So one of the Nastik darshan is Charvak. So Charvak was a rishi in ancient India who gave this philosophy of Charvak philosophy, which is called hedonism in West. And that philosophy talks about enjoyment, sense enjoyment as far as possible. Yes, next question. Yes, from S.P. Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Why did the coward boys not remember the killing of Bakasura for 1.5 years? Could you please explain this again? No, not Bakasura. Killing of Aghasura for 1 year, next 1 year. Because when Aghasura was killed, immediately they were taking lunch. All the coward boys, they were taking lunch. And during that time, Brahma took all the cows and calves. And Brahma took the cows and calves for one moment. And the one moment of Brahma is equal to 1 year in earthly planet. So for 1 year, all the calves and cowherd boys were only Krishna. And those cowherd boys and calves were hidden by Lila Sakti. Okay, so that is why for that 1 year, the cowherd boys and calves, they don't have any memory because they were hidden by Lila Sakti. And within that year, all the calves, all the cowherd boys were Krishna only. So that is why after 1 year, when Brahma came back with those calves and cowherd boys, when Lila Sakti again manifested those calves and cowherd boys, they felt as if Aghasura was killed now, and that till that time 1 year was already passed. Okay, that is the thing. Yes. Next. Abhishek Prabhu says that Krishna expands himself to exhibit his opulence. So what is the difference between Krishna expanding himself to cowherd boys and calves versus original cowherd and calves which are earlier there with Krishna? Okay. So I know anyway, sir says many times that the pure devotees are the manifestation of Krishna's particular desire. Okay, they represent one desire of Krishna. So when Krishna himself manifests into those forms, that is his so and so. He himself is there. But these original cowherd boys, they also represent one of the desire of Krishna, but they are eternally separated parts and parcel. Okay, Krishna doesn't see any difference between him and his friends, but they are eternal separated parts and parcels. But when he expands himself, so that is his so and so, he himself. Okay. Yes, next. Is there any other question? Okay, Chiranjit Prabhu. Prabhupada mentioned in his book that there is also birth, death, old age, and disease. But you told in one lecture that there is only birth and death in spiritual world. Please clarify me where I went wrong. No. In spiritual world, there is no birth, no death. In spiritual world, there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease. Okay. So in material world, there is birth, death, old age, and disease. The spiritual world is called Vaikuntha. It is free from all kinds of miseries. And these four are chief miseries. Okay. So Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, these four are chief miseries. So they are not found in the spiritual world. They are found only in material world. Yes, in higher planetary systems. Yes, in heavenly planets. In higher planetary systems, these four are there. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. But what happens in most of the higher planetary systems, mostly they feel birth and death. Old age doesn't disturb them much, and disease are very rare. There are instances where the people in heavenly planets also get some diseases and all, but the disease and old age is not mostly felt, or they don't disturb those heavenly people of heavenly planets. Okay, they are, but birth and death is always there. Like Brahma never becomes old; he is always young. Indra never becomes old. Okay, so they don't suffer from those old age and disease much, but disease is there, but birth and death is there. But wherever in the material world, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi is always there. Yes. Next question.
No more questions are
Okay. Thank you very much.
there, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Gaur Shamanande. Hare Hare Gaur. Please, forgive me if I have made any mistake. So when sir comes, you can ask any doubt you have. I guess I will clarify that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rama Mohandila ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitya Gaur Shamanande. Hare Hare Gaur.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.